Another week has passed, but not without some anxiety. We have all the analysis on Editors Forum. Mother of one of the teenage girls kidnapped in Takoradi in the Western region appealing to government for help to find them. They say the police are not doing enough to help find their daughters.
My niece was kidnapped. Now the person was arrested. There are about 2 days or 3 days we heard the person has escaped from the prison or the cell, which is uncalled for. Now we managed doing a demonstration against the police. Just a night that we managed to do the demonstration, they called that they found the guy again. So this thing I don't understand. It is a hard time that the police and the CIDs have to wake up. We cannot sit on this issue. It's very, very serious. It's a month and 2 weeks. And what do they want again?
15-year-old Priscilla Mantebia Crunchet last seen on December 21, 2018 at Nkrofo. 18-year-old Ruth Love Kwesing last seen on December 4th. And 21-year-old Priscilla Blessing Benchu missing since August last year. But Western Region Police Commander says the suspect in their custody is frustrating their efforts by refusing to cooperate.
This is the man who is supposed to open up to us to know where the victims are. We have tried all means to talk to him. He only, in the initial stage, he took us to Kasua. We went and combed the whole of Kasua. He could not be able to lead us to where the victims are.
But you should be able to do the kind of questioning that will let this guy understand that he could probably be going in for a very long time if he's not prepared to talk.
Yeah.
So at that level of handling, with the kind of police responses we were getting yesterday, it grieves my heart. Linking the suspect to an object that belongs to the victim is critical, and that has been established already in this case. And what we are asking for is an invigoration of their efforts in order to bring back these girls.
Now, the minority spokesperson on Defense and Interior, James Agalga, hints members of Parliament have filed urgent questions seeking to drag the ministers for the Interior and National Security before the committee over the matter.
If there is a repetition, a second kidnapping, a third kidnapping, and the matter then ought to engage national attention, the committee will interrogate the security ministers.
And there's been a massive response so far from the Joy News campaign, Bring Back Our Tardy Girls, launched during the week to help rescue the girls.
Bring back our tardy 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 girls.
Well, police in the Eastern region on Saturday arrested 15 persons in connection with the kidnapping. We will also this evening interrogate the deadly mine blast at Bahane in the Upper East region. 17 deaths, 4 others in critical condition amidst growing tension amongst the youth over operations of the Swansea mining firm.
They didn't tell us. When we thought we were helping them to sack, not knowing that they were planning to kill us.
The Swansea concession have since been closed down and investigations into the explosion underway. We have all the angles on Editors Forum, plus a new dawn for the Gbon with the coronation of the new Yana. A result of years of collaborative engagements by successive governments, the people of the Gbon and the Otumfuo-led Committee of Eminent Chiefs, a $30 million water supply expansion project for the people and the first of many other development projects expected in Yendi after this significant peace process. We are live on digital address GA09925939, on Facebook.com/JoyNewsOnTV, on Twitter as Joy News on TV, on YouTube and across the world on myjoyonline.com. You can also join the conversation via 0266047417 on WhatsApp. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for joining us. And with me in the studio to do the discussion, Ifya Pokwa is editor at Adom FM, and Kojo Yangson is also editor with Joy News. Nice to have you guys.
Great to be here. Thanks for inviting us.
And thanks for coming late, Kojo. Now, if you look at the police's response to the matter at hand, and if you look at the explanations that the commander from the Western region is giving, then you can conclude that the police in that region is overwhelmed with the issue at hand. If you listen to the police commander, and I heard him speak, and I heard a question that was put to him: what do you tell parents of the kidnapped girls? I mean, how do you want them to take that matter? And he says, at that point, my hope is dashed. What's your assessment of the police in handling this matter so far?
I think in addition to being overwhelmed, which is the adjective you use to describe the attitude of the police in this kidnapping issue, we can also add the fact that they underestimated the essence, the value of the case at hand, which would necessitate the kind of reaction that the commander himself gave out, or his reaction to the whole issue.
Yeah.
I think that going forward, what we need to do is also to re-evaluate or review the protocols that the police service use in handling cases that come to them. Often they feel a sense of no obligation towards the public. Elsewhere in other jurisdictions, the police will be doing constant updates because they feel that they are obliged and join, they owe a duty to the citizens to explain to them that this is the situation. And even on the face of it, they take kidnapping, abduction cases very, very crucial. Here in Ghana, there are certain cases that we take serious, other cases we don't take serious. Cases that are involving high-profile people, cases that involve people who are known, cases that journalists will be interested in. The police will attach a certain level of importance to it. But even this matter, the police only gave the kind of attention that it deserved to it when media attention came into the matter. Yeah. So we need to do a whole overview or a whole review of the police protocol in order to understand that in this modern day and age, we cannot handle cases the way we used to handle it. In this modern day of social media, the police even ought to be on social media. They ought to be monitoring. They have a cyber crime unit. There should be somebody in the cyber crime unit or a group of people in the cyber crime unit monitoring all platforms, all social media platforms. Because as we understand the facts of this matter, suspects, the accused persons in this case, managed to get some of the girls through social media. They ought to be there. Yeah. I am frustrated. Several times we've sent videos to the police cybercrime unit, these sex tapes and all that, for the police to even track the source of the tapes. And it takes weeks and months, and we go back to the police and we never hear anything. We need a whole overhaul of the way we do our things in this nation. The national security needs to come into the matter. So this is beyond the police. The police
I haven't heard any of them speak. And at this critical moment that we have even a Minister for National Security.
And that's even the good thing about having a Minister for National Security. That's the good thing. You remember that the president, for the first time in the history of 1992 Constitution and under the Fourth Republic, we had the president giving reasons, job description for every ministry and the portfolio.
Exactly.
We heard it. And for national security, he said it so that the people, the minister would be answerable to the people. So where are answers? Where are answers? Often when we find case, and we're going to go into the men's gold matter, we haven't had national security on this matter. This is a purely national security issue, beyond what the Bank of Ghana and Securities and Exchange Commission. We ought to know that you're holding the power on behalf of the people. So you're answerable to us. You don't need to wait for members of parliament to put in an urgent question, put in a question on the floor of parliament. No, you need to speak to the people. And we haven't seen this. And obviously when the top is missing the point, those below it will definitely miss the point. So it's not just about the commander, it's about the hierarchy of security, it's about systems in this country not working. And if it works, the commander will see that the media doesn't need to come to him for answers.
And I keep on asking the question, Minister for National Security, Minister of State at the Presidency in charge of security, Minister of the Interior, Minister of Defense, National Security Coordinator, I mean, the list goes on, and we're still seeing some of these things. We can't even find hope anywhere that we are getting closer.
And this should even give us an opportunity to do a better policy for security matters in this country, especially when recently we had a drone issue. Why can't we have drones? And I've seen, Kojo and myself were fortunate to be in Toulouse, France. We were at the Airbus space station to look at how even drone system is being applied to satellites and how that is used to fight crime in other places. And we can't do this. And this is a perfect justification to get drones that will be monitoring, attached with cameras, that will be monitoring communities, areas. Everywhere, especially in a country like ours, where we have poor lighting system. People, it's dark everywhere. Added to that,
even the small street lights we have are not working.
So if, in addition to the drones using satellite images to monitor what is going on in communities, if we have proper intelligence, intelligence in social media, intelligence everywhere, we will be able to clamp down on some of these people before even they commit the offense. And when they have committed the offense, we'll be able to use satellite images and this intelligence to be able to clamp down on them and deal with them.
We'll go deeper into the intelligence issue you mentioned and whether our police units have that capability, whether we've been talking about logistics, but we need to also go more into that, whether they have that capability. But Kojo, you are just returning from Takoradi. You've had the opportunity to speak with the families of the kidnapped, and at least you've gauged the mood and you've seen how traumatized these people are. Having spoken with the people directly, and I'm sure you've also been to the police, would you still, or would you still stand by the fact that, or would you support people who think that the police in the Western region have been sleeping on the job?
Well, the first thing I'll say is that after speaking to the regional commander, I came away with a number of certainties. The first one I want to say is that the man really wants to do a good job. He really wants to find these girls, and he's bent on doing that. Okay.
That's the commander?
The commander, yes. I will also say that there are some very, very well-skilled detectives, investigators in the Ghana Police Service.
Okay.
But I will also say that the approach that has been used in this particular case is what is raising all of these questions.
Exactly.
The approach that they employed, they could have done a great deal better.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. Family members went on demonstration. They went on demonstration because they felt that this case was not being handled well. Now, they were either right or wrong, but either way, they came to that conclusion based on how the police dealt with them. Nobody went to visit. And when I say visit, I don't even mean go and visit them and ask how are you, but go there and investigate the scene from which the family members disappeared.
Okay.
The scene from which this girl disappeared. Are you sure you won't find any clues in her bedroom, any documents, any communication that might suggest that she was planning a trip somewhere or has been communicating with someone? Would none of that have been helpful in their quest? One of the girls disappeared in August. From August till now, nobody has set foot in the house. Nobody has gone into her bedroom to look around. None of that has happened. So you ask yourself, I mean, what was the strategy that the police was employing here? And is it not that strategy that has led to this backlash, whether or not the police were doing a good job? And I think that's a separate matter. Okay, we need data in order to assess whether the police have actually properly gone about this investigation. But so far, all we have is the way they have interacted with the public and the families. Now, one important thing, when the individual escaped from jail, which is another shortcoming of the police, by the way, but when he escaped from jail, the family members were not told. They learned about it from the media. So you ask yourself, why did the police not inform them? The guy, after escaping, called the family members and started demanding more money. So did the police not feel that perhaps there is some danger now that this guy is out there? There is some danger perhaps to the family members who reported the matter to the police when they were warned not to. So was it not important for them to be informed that this guy has escaped? Was it not important for some extra surveillance and protection to be provided to these family members while the guy was at large? None of that happened. So you see, there are specific things that specific individuals in the police force did wrong. And you can see that perhaps there is a bit of an appetite to shield those people from public scrutiny. And that is what has led to some of the communication we've seen coming from the police. I have no doubt about their commitment. As for that one, I cannot fault it.
But
when you speak to the men, yes, when you speak to the men at the headquarters, regional headquarters, these guys are not sleeping.
Okay.
Because they want to find these girls.
Okay.
But the approach could have been better.
But they are not sleeping, you see. At what point did they show this commitment to find the girls?
When the media
was it only when media attention was brought to the issue or initially? Because if they did, like Kojo is saying, then even when the guy escaped jail, why would they not have told the family members? Why would they not have sent intel? Because they have something called police trip. They send it around to every region, from every district, every station, to every district, to every region, every day, until headquarters. Yep. Why was that CITREP sent? Was public announcement made? Yeah. Was the family involved? Or if anything, they could have immediately gone to MT. And when the guy started speaking to the family, demanding extra money, go to the police and track the number. Exactly. Because simple iPhone, you can use iPhone tracker to track the location of another phone. WhatsApp, you can use Google to track the phone of another phone. Yeah. This is simple.
I have some information about that.
They didn't.
I have some information about
so
that.
I have some information in that about region demonstrated they did not even show any commitment to rearrest this guy who escaped.
Okay, so I have some information about that. They did try to get those phone records, but they were trying to get them from telcos. And that process was not straightforward. Okay. So the telcos, whichever telcos, and I'm not going to name, I know which ones, but I'm not going to name them, they did not cooperate with the police. And they had the law on their side. Okay, they are trying to protect your privacy, my privacy.
Police, no. Okay. They don't have the law on their side. I think that the data protection law is clear. When the police are demanding information on a number, they ought to give it. They ought to give that information. The police have the power of search. I think they have those powers. And when the telcos are proving stubborn, Kojo, all they had to do was to go to Takoradi High Court, get a court order, and get that information. And get them and that will take a day. Kojo, that will take a day.
And also, that will take a day with people who feel that.
I have spoken to the police. They went to the telcos with a court order.
And the telcos refused.
They frustrated them, yes.
No, Kojo.
Okay,
but how?
Please.
Did you see the court order? Kojo, did you see the court order?
There is a court order.
But did you see the court order?
They have a court order.
No, Kojo, did you see the court order? That will be a matter of public
record. We can check it for ourselves.
Yeah, but Kojo,
they can. By my sources, the police, is that they went to the telcos with a court order. And the telcos frustrated them. Okay. This is what my sources, and it's various sources in the police administration.
And Kojo, what did they do?
Okay.
After they were frustrated, when they were frustrated.
I want you to understand, because otherwise this will turn into a situation where it looks as if I'm trying to protect the police or defend the police, and I have no interest in doing that.
Definitely.
But I certainly want facts to be facts.
Yeah, definitely. But at this stage, we are not sure whether what you're telling us is factual or not. Oh no. Because you are saying that insiders told you that they went to the telcos with a court order. I want to see the court order before I believe that there was actually a court order. Because if indeed they frustrated the court order, all they had to do was to cite them for contempt.
All right.
The police are lawyers.
So the question is, what did they do?
I appreciate.
Did you find
I appreciate the fact that what I know is from sources. Okay. Okay. All right. So if your point is right, that we cannot know for sure that they actually went with a court order, then we also cannot know for sure that they didn't. We don't have evidence for either. Yeah, so of those we can't believe. So we can't be categorical about either. Okay. Okay. Let's leave it there.
You didn't see the order.
No, I haven't seen the court order. No, I have not.
So we can move on. Now, I think we should listen to the Western Region Commander, Vincent Redeemer, who has been trying, and people are saying that he's a redeemer who can't redeem. But let's listen to him first.
What is actually happening is that this is the man who is supposed to open up to us to know where the victims are. We have tried all means to talk to him. He only, in the initial stage, he took us to Kasua. We went and combed the whole of Kasua. He could not be able to lead us to where the victims are. Taken almost 17 days.
You've had him in custody for 17 days. Yes. And he keeps leading you to the wrong places.
Yeah, he's not ready even to talk. He will tell you he doesn't know where the victims are.
So, on what basis are you holding him?
No, under call that he made to the phones, the victim phone.
He has the phones of the victims.
No, the call that he made to the victims. In one of the instances, there was a communication between them before the kidnapping took place. In all the three cases that we have come to encounter.
Okay.
So we are holding him because if you don't know the people, immediately you have you were brought into custody. Communication to those lines also ceased, and those who also went off.
A lot of people have said that the police has not shown any serious level of competence, any serious level of urgency in finding these people because it's taken too long. How do you respond to that?
My response to that is that is the wrong perception about whatever we are doing, because it is not like the things are just that you go and you must use tactics. You must be when the person what can we do? You cannot subject him to inhuman treatment because the law of human rights does not allow a lot of things to be done. So if someone is saying that police not do, I don't know what they want us to do apart from doing what is going by the procedural processes and doing what is right for us professionals.
So that is the Western Region Police Commander Vincent Rudi-Madejo explaining how frustrated they are. And this is just one person, the kidnapper, who has been frustrating the whole police unit in the Western Region. And this is the guy who leads the whole police force to Kasoa, the perceived place where the girls are. And then they combed the whole area, the whole of Kasoa, Western State resources, and then at the end of the day, they do not find where the girls are. And this is just one person. Having been to the community, do you have the conviction that the people themselves do not even have any hope in the police?
Now, you see, you are right. They don't have hope in the police, and that's the police's fault. Let's be clear. Okay. And it's simply down to, like I said, the approach that they have used so far. But let's also update our viewers that the police have made some arrests in another part of the country. They've arrested 15 Nigerians who they say in Nwaso Odumase Krobo. They say these individuals are part of the kidnapping ring. So I'm guessing this has followed the fact that the suspect they had in custody, Samuel Wills, started talking. Okay, so that led to these 15, and the police are hopeful that this means that we're getting closer. But a couple of things are very likely. The first one is that the girls are not likely to still be in Ghana, which means there'll be a need for international collaboration. If we're going to find them.
Surprised that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, because we've also heard rumors that this could be linked to child trafficking.
It's not a rumor, it's a theory that the police are pursuing.
We all know that in Ghana, a lot of girls have been taken to the Gulf where they've ended up being molested, being misused, abused, and all of that. So I'm looking at the Foreign Affairs Ministry also taking an interest. I mean, it's been too long before we heard the Ministry of Gender talk about it, and we'll get to hear what the Minister, Cynthia Morrison, said. But also, and I asked you when you spoke with the community, what was the general feeling? They've lost hope in the police. I'm sure they're also living in fear by now.
Yes, and you see, it has started to spark lots of false reports. You know, every little thing, if your daughter is not home, you know, and it's 1 hour past her curfew, immediately you start worrying that she might be kidnapped.
You get agitated.
You know? So people have started, you know, spreading all kinds of stories. Some of them are not actually cases of kidnapping. Some people too are seeking attention, so they very quickly bring up stories and make claims, and then after we check, we realize that they are not factual. These things, unfortunately, are going to really harm the investigation because time and resources are committed to each of these complaints, which lead us to a dead end. And that's resources that we really need to be committing to the, you know, the search for these missing girls. But the people in the community also have a lot of information. So, for example, Natalia and I have been working some sources. You would have seen on social media some images of some documents belonging to the suspect, the first suspect that they picked up, Samuel Wills. Now, these documents, two of them are Nigerian ID cards with different names but the same picture, okay? And then a passport with the name that we know him by, which is Samuel Udo Turk Wills. So, these documents were found in a place where he used to live. Okay, the landlord of that place found those documents. Okay, we've also discovered that he has had a child with a Ghanaian.
Okay.
Okay, so all of these,
yes,
all of these details are things we are finding out from members of the community. This information is coming a bit slowly. People are a bit wary about coming forward with this information because they are afraid they might be targeted by his accomplices who may still be around. There is a suggestion that there are some individuals not far from the Kwesimintim taxi rank who are suspected accomplices of this individual. The police are looking into all this. You know, but this information came from the community. They are feeding information to the public, to the media. They are hoping this information will help. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But one thing is clear. They really are disappointed in the way things have gone so far. And I'm sure you would be too. If your daughter has been missing since August, you know, you'd feel a bit let down by the system.
And at the point when one of the parents went to the police to report to the police told him that she may have gone to her boyfriend, so wait, she will come home. If you get these kind of responses from the police, you'll be worried, certainly. But one of the things coming up, and for me it's very worrying, the fact that the police is saying that these kidnappers usually are in contact with the victims even before the kidnapping happens. It's something I think we should turn our attention to because it's very worrying. It brings, especially when experts are telling us that this is an emerging security threat that the police and the security agencies did not anticipate, then we should be worried. It also brings back the issue of parenting. Where does the parenting end? Because I know one of them is as young as 15. And at that point, the 1992 Constitution doesn't declare this person as an adult. So the parenting still continues. And then I'm also questioning the Ministry of Gender. Whose duty is it to educate the public on some of these dangers? Are they doing so? So how does it come across to you that these people brainwash the victims first before they even, you know, do the kidnapping?
I doubt if we can hold the Ministry of Gender.
If I just say this quickly, I'm so sorry. But that detail is something that is associated with child trafficking. Okay. What they will do is they will befriend you, cultivate you. Definitely. Because you see, they need to move you across borders. Yeah. And it is easier if you are walking along with them than if they have to tie you up and throw you in the boot or whatever. So they cultivate you so that you are comfortable. Yes, and they sell you an adventure, so you are willing to go with them. So
you're willing to go. And one of the, and I hear they also give them a lot of money and material stuff, because one of the uncles we spoke with of the victim, and he says that one of them, who is 15 years, was holding a mobile phone, and when they asked her, or they thought the mobile phone was taking too much of her attention, they wanted to seize the mobile phone, and she says, why are you seizing it from me? Okay, you can have it. If you take it, I'll get another one. I mean, so all of these are things that should get us to wake up. And
those are parenting things that we have to deal with. But it's very difficult when you're talking about parenting issues because it is very personal, and it's difficult to control how parents do their things from the comfort of their
because
homes.
We can't continue to backlash the police alone.
I know, but that is why we need. But that is why we need policy guidance. But I have a difficulty when you say that the Ministry of Gender and Social Protection is responsible for educating the people. They are not. As individuals, we are responsible.
Responsibility is it to champion these policies you're talking about?
But it's really not a Ministry of Gender and Social Protection. Ideally,
what's their duty?
It would rather be all of the NCCU. And we all know the problems with
What's
NCCU.
the role of the Ministry of Gender in all of this?
The Ministry of Gender has to do policy, not education.
Okay.
Policy, not education.
Are they doing it?
Well, you see, the Ministry of Gender has never been able to do everything, and for that matter, all other ministries have not been able to do everything that they are supposed to do.
But these are considered basic things.
Well, you see, that is where I'm saying that this is a security issue. So intelligence is very key. And if the intelligence was working, if monitoring, for instance, this electronic monitoring, social media, how we can use our security agencies to go underground and build an underworld where they will be able to track every social media account. Every social media account. Look, Aisha, elsewhere in Europe, I had the opportunity of traveling with National Media Commission to Europe to study the social media media laws of most of the European countries. Yes. EU has adopted a law which originated from Germany. They are able to track every social media account. But the police cannot tell us that these things were taken unawares and that they weren't aware elsewhere in other places, and the police are aware. They have Interpol. The Deputy IGP Opombueno used to be at the headquarters of Interpol. He and other officers in the police service cannot claim not to know the modus operandi of kidnappers. The method that kidnappers use in tracking or attracting victims and kidnapping them is very common. This is what we are seeing. It's not new to us. If you go to Europe, it's there. If you go to other African countries, it's there. They lure people, they use other gifts and other things to entice them, make them comfortable. Sometimes they even befriend them. People who pedophiles, they make friends with these young girls. But that is why tracking them is very important. Yes. Other countries have developed softwares that they can use to track these people. Why can't we adopt those softwares? Exactly. We don't need to even reinvent them.
And at the point,
we just have to buy those softwares.
That they use confiscated mobile phones and softwares, and that when one number calls them from here, another number calls them from in the next few minutes, that same number calls them from another vicinity.
Aisha, we have all failed. We have all failed. Parents have failed.
Ask yourself, this is the police service.
Yeah, but Aisha, you see, sometimes you can blame the police. Yes, when the matter comes to the police, how they handle it from the point of report or writing the complaints to investigations to execution and all that and going to court, is we can blame the police. But the thing starts before the police.
Yeah, and that's where the
uncle who is saying that we saw her holding a mobile phone. What did you do?
What did you do?
If you have rules and values and systems for your children in the house, they know that at a point they are not supposed to have a phone.
Yep.
So you don't even need to question them. They will not even have the phone. Yep. And we all know that.
And in the first place, when they have a phone and you don't know where they are getting it from, shouldn't you be worried?
You should be worried. You should be worried. That's why these days people even have tracker in their children's school bag and they don't even know the tracker is there. So that they can track them when they've closed from school and they are supposed to take a bus from school or walk from school to the house. They know that they have veered off the road and they are going elsewhere. But look, poverty is the bone of everything.
Poverty.
People are so poor that they can't afford this tracker. They are poor in terms of knowledge.
They can't even
that they don't even know that these are dangers.
You're talking about
you have mothers whose children bring things to the house and they think, oh, actually, oh yeah, nice I had an assignment.
And I hear some of them even push their children to
go and bring things. So it's lack of knowledge. So we are poor in knowledge. We are poor in financial resources. We are poor in everything, and we need a total wake-up call. We sit in this country, and young girls as low as 12 years are showing their breasts on social media, and nobody is doing anything about it.
Nobody is doing anything
National Security ought to be tracking them right now. And you go to their pages and they do streaming, live streaming.
Have policies, social media policies?
We should have. Aisha, that's why I'm giving you an example of what is happening in Germany, which has been adopted by EU. We should have these things. We shouldn't wait for them to be trafficked, kidnapped. Look, young people are being abused. They are not even kidnapped, but they go to sleep with people. They are pimping young girls who have no capacity to give consent. 15, 14, they are pimping them. The last sex tape that leaked before the new year, young security man or so having sex with a little girl who is, if I guess, like 12 or 13 years. Have we tracked it? Has the police told us anything? Justice must not just be done. Justice must be seen to be manifestly and profusely done. So if the police is doing something, they ought to tell us that they are doing it. If you are investigating, and we need to get closure on all the cases that have been reported to the police, so that we will have confidence in them that something is happening.
That will take long to happen, but I still cannot see how the Ministry of Gender and Children and Social Protection is exonerated in this matter.
I'm not saying they are exonerated.
Because there's a whole child trafficking unit at the Ministry of what is their duty? What is their mandate? If we're told that these kind of incidents leads to trafficking of children, what have they done? This is not the first time we've seen child trafficking, but even though it's being in different, even though it's being in different forms, what is that are they doing? But I'll go into that shortly, Kojo. In your when you went to the community, what was your observation? Because we are told that criminologist Ken Atefua made the point that we should be able to find out why that area in particular is the haven for these people. Why do they like to go to that area? There should be a particular reason. Somebody gave me a reason. It says, "My friend, I say 15 years, Abafraba Nawai a day, and all that.
That's ignorance.
What was your observation in that community? Did you get the sense that the young people there are even learning lessons from what is happening?
That is complete ignorance. In fact, it even hurt my ears to hear it. Hear you repeat it.
Okay.
Because, come on, look. First of all, we've already learned the type of girls that these individuals target. And okay, look, let's just start from the very beginning. They don't kidnap boys.
Yeah.
They kidnap girls.
Yes.
Okay.
And we even heard that there's another kidnap in Takwa
Yes.
over the week,
Yes.
in the course of the week.
All right. All girls, right? So again, that leads to the, child trafficking or people trafficking, sex trafficking, scenario. But secondly, they target girls who are naive, girls who have a very small circle of friends, reclusive girls who don't even know, who are not conversant even with their own environment. Yeah. They talk about how the first lady who was kidnapped, the 21-year-old Priscilla Bintum, apart from home, school, and church, she's not known to go anywhere else. Yeah. She has a tiny circle of friends. She's described as calm, quiet by her family members. Yeah. Ruth Quayson, her own sisters were teasing her that if they send Ruth to the center of town and tell her to find her way back home, she won't. Because she doesn't know Takoradi. Wow. She doesn't go out. You can go to Ruth's house 10 times in a week and probably you spot her once because she's always in her room. Okay. The 15-year-old, she's the one whose behavior started changing in the days leading up to her kidnap. Okay. And that is in the days leading up to it. Her family members talk about how she was always calm, quiet, didn't have many friends until this person made contact with her. And you can see that because the others are older, 18 and 21. Yeah. So perhaps even after making contact with this guy, they still maintained their behavior,
their posture, yeah.
But this 15-year-old was so overwhelmed by this guy and what he was offering her that her behavior visibly changed. Yeah. Besides, she lives in a small house with her mother, with her father, her brothers, and younger siblings. So you really can't do anything that they won't see. Yeah. It's not like Ruth Quayson who has her own room or Priscilla Bintum who has her own room. Yeah. You understand? So this is the reason why that girl's behavior was visible. But even then, she was a quiet girl who suddenly changed. So anybody who says, Moframan wa say, honestly, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
You understand me?
But when you went into the community, did you also observe, what was your observation of the other girls? Has this, dawned on them that, listen, there's something here, we should wake up?
Everybody's terrified. Okay, we met with a trader who talked about how she can't send her kids home after school. She makes them stay with her while she's trading, loiter around her till about 11 so that they can all go home together because she's afraid of sending them home on their own. There are community members who say, look, they send their kids to the roadside to pick the school bus. If the school bus doesn't turn up by a certain time, they bring their kids home. No school for you today. Yeah. Because they are afraid of leaving them out there exposed because they don't know who else is out there doing this. There is a palpable scare in the community. And that has only come about since the information about these kidnaps became public. And that is where, again, the police really need to learn some lessons for the future. Yes. Because this information should not have come from the media. As for us, we will simply inform the public of whatever we believe they must know. Whatever information we get, we will put on the platform for the world to be aware of. Yeah. But the police, if they had been managing this from the beginning, they could have done this perfectly. We are asking questions about the Gender, Children and Social Protection Ministry. Yeah. Why haven't they been educating the public and all that? But guess what? In the run-up to Christmas, the police puts out warnings about armed robbery, about having your car being carjacked and all of that. So if you have been investigating a kidnap since August, and then in December you have 2 more, at what point does it become your duty as the police to put out information to warn the public and to tell them how to properly behave, how to properly safeguard their children, their daughters. That proper information, where is it coming from?
It's not coming. I mean, they weren't informing us, and even the information you're seeing right now is the efforts by the media. It's the media that put out this information.
When did the ministry...
It's the media that even got the
pictures out, even the pictures.
Even organize that press conference to even tell us more about this whole syndicate, and that's why nobody can exonerate the police and this whole thing. I've heard a lot of people jump into the police's defense that they don't have logistics, and I have always been of the view that, listen, they can still do more with the little that they have.
But Aisha, but if they don't have resources, did the Takoradi Police Command even write to headquarters?
We have to avert our minds to this issue that is coming up, that the police needs to be equipped with these sophisticated gadgets we're talking about. The police should not even be seen relying so much on the telcos to get information. This is a case, and we've all not verified whether they had the court order that they said they had. But if you have a court order and the telcos are still frustrating you, I mean, it brings back that conversation that the police needs these kind of gadgets, looking at the kind of job they do, the kind of issue we're talking about. It needs intelligence speaking, it needs gadgets. And when I heard that they were talking about that phone that this one calls, and I was just laughing, and I was like, what kind of policing are we doing in this country?
Aisha, it's
and
really
whose duty is it also to provide for the police? The state, do they have it? No. How much do they have in our budget?
Somebody raised the question. Somebody raised the question of whether we should have bought them these saloon cars
instead of those little gadgets that they need to do their work properly.
You see, Aisha, if we had the gadgets, those communication gadgets, armed with a drone, those were my opening comments, we'll be able to do a lot of things. We're talking about street cameras and all that, helping to aid in fight against crime. If we have a satellite that is connected to a couple of drones that can take pictures or images from across the country, that will be fed into a central system. They say a police communication unit, and the police service has communication units every region. Aisha, every region they have a communication department there. So that communication department will be connected to this drone system that will be taking images from every point, so that if anything is happening, you don't even need somebody to call you. You can pick it up and deal with it, send a vehicle to go there, or send something to deal with it even before anything happens. We can't do this thing. But I'm saying that across the regions where the police have their regional structures, the regional commander in the region has oversight responsibility of the region. They have a DISEC that is chaired by the DCE. They have a RECSEC which is chaired by the regional minister. What were all these groups doing about it? Was there a security alarm that was raised about the security situation that, like Kojo said, we have had occasions when one child has gone missing, 2 girls are missing, 3 before the end of the year. We think this is a pattern. We should do something about it. Can we start printing flyers? Can we start doing education? Can we write to all the media houses in the Western region or across the country? Give us airtime, 30 minutes on all your shows. And we will do it because we do this every time with the Electoral Commission. Nobody buys airtime with us, but we do this because we know it's also our responsibility.
It's our responsibility.
We should work together. But the initiative should come from somewhere, which is the intelligence institution, BNI, National Security, the police service, Ministry of Interior, working with Ministry of Gender and Social Protection, because maybe you identify that all the victims are women or they are vulnerable people, assuming that even they were not girls and they were boys. But these are all vulnerable people who need protection, so they still come under the ministry. But take this, I've just gotten information that they've managed to get the iPad of the suspect. And in the iPad, they've gotten some information. The information is leading to what has been confirmed, that the girls are alive. So wherever they are, the iPad information that they've retrieved shows that the girls are alive. So they are closing up on it. But it's a little too late in the day.
It's a little too late in the day.
If the girl's mother or any of the relatives connected to these victims had collapsed and died, it would have been as a result of our own negligence.
At this moment,
is why
you can't
I think
even tell the trauma that she's going through. And these days that people's
nobody even cares
unnecessarily.
For you know, all the deaths that we are experiencing is also as a result of some of these things that is making people depressed. Look, one of these days saying we should sue the police service, sue BNI, sue everybody that is committed, because if we had acted some of the things that we are experiencing, the accident, the carnage on our roads, all the men's gold, all these issues, if the institutions of the state were working, we would not have had all these problems.
Just before the week closed, we had an eyewitness saying that they saw one of the girls, and according to them, the description looked like Priscilla Bentum or something, and the car was at the filling station, and
this was just a few days after she disappeared.
I've just been thinking about
August last
I've
year.
been thinking about it. I just can't understand what happened. This is a girl. A car came to there to buy fuel or something like that, and then the girl was screaming, "Pacho, Mumboa me, they are taking me away, Mumboa me." And then somebody looks on, and then it says the other person, one of them got down from the car and said, "Oh, she's our sister. She's mentally retarded, and we are taking her to Nigeria to seek help." Where is the national responsibility? Please, I think we should listen
a sense of community.
We should listen to that soundbite.
Me pack ni no. Se bi na me boss so kwa kogu nsu kakra. Nti me hwe, omo mu fele diesel ne mame. Enu be 10 minutes kra na me say Nigeria car bi be pack on side. Nti o pack here na me say me gina me pump me car ne ho ntinu. Me te say car no mu dede me pamocho monye me wa omo de me ko me pamocho wa monye me omo de me ko monye me sremo a omo kokumi o. But ye rashe ka no ho ti ye we say ye rashe ka no a man ba ko mu a nipa mienu na ti back seat na oba no nipa miensa oba ne timfinfiri na mienu ba ko na ba ko ebe ma ba ko front ni driver nti ye say nipa 5 nti ye say pepe on say oboka na say sliding door ye bie no say
car ben a
Toyota ash color say car we sway nti obi ye na pepe ono nipa no ben or ticket na no ka say be ma no ticket na no ka say ni nu aketwa oyare na say ni I say obodam tin o mo kwakwasa na yare in Nigeria
o mo ka kasa ben.
So you had that eyewitness there who's explaining how it all happened when the girl was screaming, and then one of them comes out of the car and spoke Twi. One of them came out of the car and spoke Twi and said, she's our sister, she's mentally not okay. We're taking her to Nigeria. And I asked the question, what happened to this guy who was forcefully taking this girl? This girl is a state asset. She's not, the brother doesn't even have any right to force her to, what did they do? They may not, they may be ignorant of the law, so they may not have done anything. Let's look at the police that said they were going to put cameras on our streets. If these cameras were there, I'm sure it could have helped the police to even track where these cars were going. Right. We've lost all of these. We are told the girls are alive. Where are our girls?
Yeah, and I guess I could address each of those things you've raised. The first one about the cameras. Yes, that was a promise that was made, that they would put cameras on all of our street corners. I do know that some of the cameras are up and operational. For example,
in other jurisdictions, you dare not. People don't. The police don't. They've gone beyond this. They don't bother themselves over people who misbehave on the road. Just misbehave and go. By the time you come, your ticket will be there waiting for you, and you will pay a fine. Why are we still here?
Okay, so that would only work if we had a database of reliable information of Ghanaians, so that if somebody passes on your CCTV camera doing something wrong, you can actually trace them to their house and give them that ticket, or you can identify them by their car registration or whatever. But our system is so porous when it comes to data that is still a problem. But I was going to say, some of those cameras are up, especially here in the capital. I'll give you an example of a place where that camera is up and has been functioning, and you can make of it what you will, what I'm about to say.
Okay.
But at Atomic Junction, where the explosion happened, there is a camera there. It overlooks that junction.
Okay.
It saw how the explosion happened.
Okay.
And that information is available to the authorities. We still haven't heard from them their report on how the explosion happened.
Okay.
I would love to hear it, so that those who call me Kojo Chichinga might get some. It might get some what's it called? Some closure. Some closure to that matter. But there is a camera there. It captured what happened, and there are such cameras around. But the problem here is that
not all over.
Not everywhere. Not everywhere. Yes. So
certainly not in the regions.
Yes, there are still places that are not yet covered. You are right about that. But the problem with this particular incident at this filling station is that it happened in August, just a few days after the girl disappeared. So even if there is CCTV camera, and I believe there is a CCTV camera at the filling station, but since August, they have recorded over it several times. That data no longer exists. The problem is that when it happened, nobody reported it. Nobody reported it. This thing we are doing, where we are running this campaign saying if you see something, say something. It's not just for these 3 girls. It's for our entire future. If you see something, say something. Anything unusual, anything abnormal. Look at how long it's taken for these individuals to remember what they saw that day.
To come to terms with the fact that the kidnappers, one of them got down and was speaking Twi. Does that tell you something?
It tells me something. Yes, it is possible that it may be a Nigerian who has learned Twi. But if you're an adult, you move to another country after growing up, there will always be an accent.
There will always be an accent.
So it is easier for me to assume that that was a Ghanaian than for me to assume the less likely option that is a Nigerian fluent in Twi. Which means that we need to investigate the possibility that there are Ghanaians involved in this. And not just Nigerians. So in the communities in Takoradi where they are now very wary of their Nigerian neighbors, please be wary of your Ghanaian neighbors too. Okay? Now, this happened a few days after the girl disappeared. Spotted in Tema. If we know what kind of car it is, we are told that it's one of those cars that has a sliding door, so it's like a people carrier, minivan. You know,
family.
And there is a suspicion it was a Toyota. Okay, so we can work out a few things. You see, and this is to the point that Ifya made earlier. Yeah, the authorities don't have a lot of equipment. They don't have a lot of resources. But Kofi Bentil said this very well. Resourcefulness is different from having resources.
Exactly.
Okay, so being resourceful is what the police should be right now. And there are certain things you can do. So for example, if you know it's a Toyota, it's a people carrier, you can bring up all the Toyota people carriers with sliding doors, all the makes and models. You can see their fuel capacities. And it will tell you that if they filled their tank at Tema and they are heading towards the border,
this is how long
this
is them to,
this is how long it will take them to run out of fuel. So from this filling station to that filling station, they are likely to have stopped at another one. Then you go there, then you check. And that is resourcefulness. You don't need money to do that.
That's resourceful. Okay. But Aisha, we've seen the police work with little resources, even less resources than they have today. In the Kweku Ninja case, somebody was killed and buried under concrete. They managed to catch the suspect. So they worked with little resources. The issue is about commitment. That's why I'm saying
it's about commitment.
From the very beginning, they underestimated this issue. And because it wasn't involving the child
out. It gives them out that they pick and choose.
They pick and choose.
Which cases they want to give much attention to.
Aisha, me and you know that they pick and choose.
They
definitely do.
When you hit one of their own, you see how proactive they are.
And beyond that, when you the matter involves somebody, a high-ranking person, involves me, involves you, it will be dealt with. When it involves somebody who is an ordinary person, look, I have a case right now. Somebody walked to the office. The husband has beat her to comatose. It's happened on several occasions. She's run away. I myself took her to Dovsu. Dovsu gives her a letter, go back to the area where your husband beat you up. How can a woman do that? Somebody who's been attacked in an area has run to Accra
and you want her to go back.
And I have taken her to Dovsu. They give her a letter to go back to the area where she was victimized. How do you expect such a person to do that? There's a case I'm handling right now. A young man says his wife has poured acid on him. The case is with the police 2 years down the line. What if that person gets frustrated and decide to go back and seek revenge? This is 2 years acid pouring. So ordinary people don't get justice. Aisha,
they don't.
We know this.
And
because these victims are ordinary people, the police did not attach the same level of seriousness that they are supposed to attach to it. And this is where we all worry. That if it happens to me and you, the Gapoha case, the houseboy has been arrested, has investigation ended. It shouldn't end. There were people who called the woman on the day. Anybody who called the woman within 48 hours, that person, the phone can be tracked. That person is a major suspect, should be interviewed or spoken to, questioned. We don't have all that.
Much on that. And you talked about the updates that the police should be giving to the public.
They all has a duty.
We don't get that often. But more scarier is the fact that experts are saying that this kind of thing, the kidnapping thing, is an emerging security threat that we must turn our attention to. We think that the security agencies were not anticipating this, so they are overwhelmed with the issue. But this is a wake-up call, and it brings back that lamentation of police proactiveness. Proactive policing can prevent a lot of things, not just the kidnapping. In all other crimes, the best the police can do is to be proactive. If they are proactive and they are putting, and Kojo made that point, that when Christmas is coming, the police is quick to tell us these are areas that you shouldn't go. There are car snatching indicate you should do this. When elections are coming, they are quick to tell us that these are flashpoints. So why are we not doing much? Why are we not strengthening this asset?
Aisha, but that I answered this question earlier. As a nation, we have failed. As a nation, it's just not
two
just
ways
the
about
police,
that.
National Security, Interior Ministry, because the police works under the direction of the Interior Ministry. We have failed. National Security, NCC, we have all failed. Even as the media, we often hype these things when there's an issue. You know, we are all talking about this because there's been kidnapping. Would we have given these tips before the kidnapping? No, because often we are more interested in the political issues that will give us the trending, give us the numbers.
With Joy News, I know we do a lot of human rights
stories. We do
Yeah.
human resources.
Definitely.
We do human interest stories. But often we don't even do it in terms of preventive measures. We do it in terms of, oh, these are the bigger stories and this will be more interesting to our audience. But I think all of us know that parents, everything, we have all failed. This is a good opportunity for us to all sit down, reflect, and do the needful by correcting it for the future. The police service know that worldwide there's a police system, there's a police database that is shared. Like the doctors will do a medical journal every year and show the trend in diseases. WHO will give direction. This is the high-flying case that is killing people, BP, malaria, and all that. The police also do it. I think that worldwide they would have known that pedophilia, where these people prey on younger people, kidnapping, it's a trend that is growing. So if Ghana is not seeing that trend, we ought to have anticipated that it will get here at a point and prepare ourselves before we got it. But having said that, I think the opportunity still
is better late than never.
Us. And that's why I think
we are seeing this,
it's refreshing that the iPad of the suspect has been retrieved and there are pictures and videos on it that is showing that the victims, at least as of the time that the video was taken, and I understand the video was taken in recent time leading to his arrest, that they are alive.
His first arrest or his second arrest?
I think his second arrest. That's what the information that I'm getting.
So as at that time, the girls were alive?
So we can be able to at least get to the girls on time and get them back alive.
So we can heave a sigh of relief that our girls are still alive.
But we expect the National Security Ministry to get to us.
And that's the point I'm going to, because the ranking member on Defense and Interior Committee in Parliament says that they will summon those ministers, Interior and National Security, before Parliament to explain and give answers to some of the questions that have been bugging our minds. Let's listen to James Agalga on that.
If there is a repetition, a second kidnapping, a third kidnapping,
and this case, seven of them.
Absolutely. Yes. Then the matter then ought to engage national attention. At that point, the committee necessarily would intervene. The committee wouldn't intervene when just one incident has happened, and the police are investigating. You wouldn't expect the police to intervene. We wouldn't be talking about contract killings if it was restricted to only one.
I get your point.
Absolutely.
But has your committee...
So there is no dereliction. There is no dereliction whatsoever on the part of the committee.
That can be proven in this case. Has the committee invited the Minister for Interior, the IGP, to come and tell you this matter?
Remember that the committee itself hasn't been active. 7 girls have been abducted. The committee will meet at an appropriate time to interrogate the security ministers. In doing so, you need to gather sufficient facts with which to confront the ministers.
And James Agalga says that they will be invited to Parliament to answer some questions. Whether they've started that or they've even served that motion, we're still waiting to hear. And we know politicians, they say one thing and sometimes do another. But if it does happen that these ministers are summoned, Kojo, for you, what will be the most comforting response from these 2 ministers? Everybody is waiting to hear from them.
For me, the most comforting response would be, we got it wrong. Yeah.
And we're willing to learn.
I don't want to hear we are in control. The girls are alive.
Because it never works for us.
I'm not interested in that. Because there are families who go to bed at night and wake up in the morning and the girl is not there. So you sitting at Parliament and telling the committee that they are alive, honestly, it will frustrate the heck out of these families and the communities that are worried and scared.
Yeah.
They want to understand how we got here. They want to understand how since August 2018 till now,
we still haven't gotten...
The gender minister, when did she get to know about this?
Yeah.
When did she, I mean, look.
I just heard her speak about it a few days ago.
Yeah, her name is Cynthia Morrison.
Yeah.
She's a newly appointed minister. I want to say a couple of things. First of all, it's a good thing that she's gone to visit the family. Yeah. Yes, it took a while, but she's got there. It's good. The family will find some comfort in that. Yep. Okay. It's also good that she is seeking to provide some information, like what they found on the tablets, which says that which suggests that the girls are alive. Yeah. It's good that she's sharing that information. That's another plus. Okay. But I also hear she's quite concerned about the coverage that media houses like ours are giving to it. In fact, I'm told that she says that we are going a bit too hard on the issue.
Interesting.
My first response to that is that if those responsible for taking action feel that we are going hard, then we are doing our job. Yeah. That is our contribution to their efforts.
Exactly.
If we can go
and
hard
can
for
you
you to work harder.
What should we have done? Can you imagine how the media publicity has, brought this matter to, nearing
it
closure?
The attention that it
deserves. Can you imagine that if the media were silent on this, you think we would have gotten where we are now?
No, but you see, we are even living under a president who says we should be citizens and not spectators. Exactly. How do you expect us as media to sit down unconcerned when 3 girls have been abducted? How do you expect us to sit down?
The fourth estate of the real.
And when since August, the Takoradi police, the Western Regional Police, did not see the need to organize any press conference, did not see the need to even send pictures of the victims around for them to be searched. At least
by the
for
way,
people
they
to
still
know. They haven't done it
because the pictures out there was from the media.
You have one suspect. How you haven't even sent a picture of that suspect around
should be
so that we know that this is the suspect. If you have seen this man anywhere and you have seen any group of people around him, please let us know. Give us a description of those you saw around him. It should be out. The picture of this suspect should be out there.
She should be thanking us instead of making those comments.
So, I mean, and I'd like to speak to Madam Morrison right now, and you know.
Well, I understand. I just got to say, I understand it's not true. She said she didn't say that.
Okay.
Yes, she didn't say.
I wish she wouldn't. I wish she wouldn't take that approach because she said it in the presence of many people, and quite a few of them have reported it to me.
I understand it's not true.
Madam Morrison, what I want to say to you is that you've done great by going there. That's great. You've also shared information with us. That is also really good. But this pressure that you are feeling, it's a good thing. Please trust me. We are doing our job. Can you imagine if we had covered this story and it had made no impact and you had not felt it, you had not felt the pressure? What would be the point of us? What would be the point of our work? You have to feel the pressure. If it makes you work harder, work better, give more information, dig harder and push those who have to do a good job to do it, then we have helped.
Yeah, but I understand it was the family that was raising concern about the media being sensitive to them because they were worried about their photos being on there and they are crying and it made them feel like reliving the experience all over again. So that's the information I'm getting.
Okay.
The family was the one who said that when the minister went there that the media should excuse them for a little, let them grieve because they didn't want everything to be out there in the public domain. We understand that sometimes we have to be sensitive to
it. And let me make this clear. Let me make this clear that the families have invited us warmly into their homes on every occasion. They have spoken to us freely. They have called us and given us information. They have collaborated with us and they've been forthcoming with us and have asked us to help on many occasions by putting the information out there so that if anybody sees their family member somewhere, they will say something. So if the family members are calling for privacy and quiet, they deserve it. Yeah. And we ought to give them that respect.
We ought to give them that respect. If for you, what would be the most relieving, words to come from these 2 ministers that we are being told?
No, for me, I think that the matter is bigger than these 2 ministers. I don't even care about them going to Parliament.
To answer questions.
I think that the minority should also be careful not to play too much politics with this. Because this is about human life. Yeah. We want to find these victims alive and well. Yeah. So playing politics with it and making one government look like oh, you are unpopular, you have created a state of fear and panic or a state of insecurity. It's not our interest. We don't care about their interests. They like doing too much politics with issues and forgetting the actual issues and the human beings involved or at the center of the issue.
Yeah.
They didn't need to call the Minister of Interior or the Minister of National Security to Parliament to question him.
Yeah.
They don't need that. This matter is happening. It's ongoing. If the victims are going to be killed, they would be killed as we are speaking.
Exactly.
They would have been killed prior to this.
Yeah.
We don't need that. We need them to show support for the family, to show support for the victims. As before even they called the minister, have they shared pictures of the victims?
Yeah.
Have they sent it around? Have they even demanded that the police give them answers? You don't need to even go to the minister. So that if Parliament is on recess, you would say that you would wait for Parliament to resume before you table a question on the floor of Parliament for it to be on record. No, before then. As minority and as a key stakeholder in the state of this nation, you ought to show concern, and not just concern, to join the fight and the search for the victims. So I pray that they don't do politics with it, which is why I think that this matter is not just about Ministry of Interior or National Security. This matter is bigger than this, and I wish that all the stakeholders involved in this matter will be able to deal with this issue. And that's why I think that if anybody says that the media is talking too much about this, I feel very, very sad for such a person, because we are the people who have brought this issue, giving it the kind of attention that it deserves. We are the people who have even got the CID boss to even go to the family.
Of course,
it's as a result of our attention.
I want to pretend I didn't hear that
yes,
one. That
we are the one
the media
is doing this job. I'm saying that the president asked us to be citizens and not spectators.
Of course.
There were other stories we could have done this week.
Of course, and
but
don't
we decided
forget
to
that the
focus
media
on this.
is the fourth estate of the realm. We have a duty. We are the gatekeeper, the watchdogs.
So the National Security Minister should also not wait to go to Parliament to answer this question.
Yeah.
I think a nationwide telecast will not be in bad place if the Minister of National Security does a nationwide telecast to say that this is the situation, this is the state of our security, this is what we are doing ahead of the President's State of the Nation address, which I'm sure he will capture. The Minister himself ought to speak to us, the citizens.
Especially
the
the National Security Minister, because we were told, and you rightly put it, that when the President was appointing them, he
gave them job description
about all of them, what their mandates were.
And by the way, that was the first appointment.
But let me take a few of your comments.
Really,
on
the first
WhatsApp.
appointment.
And that one is coming from Rudolph from Bogos. So he says, "Join you. Thanks for your good work. Please, the Ghana police lawfully knows how to collect money from innocent citizens, but don't know how to protect lives and property. Madam, instead of the police to go and protect life, they rather will go to Galamsey towns and take money." And that's coming from Rudolph. This one from Evans, he says, "This tells MPP that politics are far different from governance. On what basis are they telling us that the girls are alive?" Okay, so this is not coming from government, it's coming from the police, that there are indications that the girls are still alive. And this one says, "Media, please, I'm not even seeing you. Please do your work and shame the ministers and the politicians. If it involves a minister, can we be here still looking for the kids?" And those are some of the comments on WhatsApp. Okay, someone is asking where all the prophets are. I don't know what this has got to do with prophecy. And Selassie from Tamale says, "I have not traveled out of Ghana before, but if I may ask, what is the work of our immigration officers on our borders? Don't they check and keep particulars of people and vehicles crossing in and out of our borders?" That's from Selassie from Tamale. And this one is coming from Richard from Sakumon. He says, "I think the police service in general has not given us enough reason for us citizens to confide in them. Therefore, it's difficult to voluntarily feed them with info. I have had 2 different cases last year, and it's so sad how cheap and unprofessional our police service has become." A number of your messages on WhatsApp, and it shows the level of interest that people have in this conversation. Richard from Takwa, and he hashtags his message, "Bring back our girls." Our police system is very poor as a country because most of them are recruited by paying bribes. They also do not work with their hearts. No proper barrier checks. All they do is take monies and make road pliers go free. My question is, if policemen at various barriers do proper checks, don't we believe, as the witness said, he heard the girl crying for help? Wouldn't they have been able to help her? Those are some very interesting comments on WhatsApp. And we are still on Editors Forum. I'm here with Kojo Yansing and Efia Pekua. We're going to, when we come back from the break, we're going to be talking about the deadly blast over the week in Bahane, where 17 people are dead and 15 more are on admission. But as we take the break, I leave you with the campaign that is being championed by Joy News.
For the parent, it's sadness. Well, mine is not. It is anger. And I expect you to be angry. The kind of anger that is required for state agencies to act swiftly. In the meantime, we're still looking for the girls. See something, say something.
Imagine waking up one morning with a dream, with a hope, with an ambition. Maybe you just want to live your life. And then sometime during the day, somebody just kidnaps you and all these dreams are extinguished. This is what has happened to 3 young girls in the Sekedi Takoradi metropolis. Their families are agonizing, their communities are distraught, and the nation is seriously looking for them. But they may be alive. We need your help. If you see something, say something.
It's very disheartening, and it shouldn't happen. And so I'm asking that the authorities involved should make every effort to get our girls back.
Our thoughts and prayers at this moment are with the families of the victims, and we also call on the relevant state agencies to expedite action, double the effort to ensure the safe return of these girls.
Imagine the agony of losing a sister or a dear one. These are 3 mothers looking for 3 daughters. Where is the hope? Where is the love? Where is the ray of sunshine? We need to find our girls.
Bring back our tardy 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 girls.
So we saw that say I mean we do so we would not say I mean we so no for me my no
bring back our tardy girls.
You're welcome back to Editors Forum. We'll go briefly into the issue, the mining blast in Bahane that has killed 17 people. But we have the gender minister on the phone. She joins us in the conversation. Cynthia Morrison, good evening to you. Many thanks for your time. What will be your response to people who think that the gender ministry is failing with these kind of reports we're getting?
We just got to get good news like 4 days or so ago when he called me, and I told you. So I quickly had to call my director in the region. Then when we got the information, we quickly acted on it. Currently, I'm in Takoradi. I went to visit the family. But I just wanted to make a little correction. That I said the media is overhyping it. No, that is not what I said. Watching you, I'm just congratulating you here. There are a lot of people here. We are saying that you've done a good job. The only thing is that the family wanted some privacy. And even when we got to the house, Priscilla's house, the family asked the media to leave. So I had to talk to them and tell them that it's the media that carries our story. Without them, we can't do anything. And so we didn't need to let them out because whatever they were talking about, we've heard it already and I've spoken to it. And so when we got out, I just told the media the reason why the family asked you out is that they thought you were overhyping the whole thing and that the mother couldn't sleep anytime she watches TV. So that is why I came in there. Not that I didn't want you. Because without you, I haven't had heard about it and I wouldn't be here. So don't think that I don't want you to talk about it. I could talk passionately about it and I agree with him. I can never say that Joy shouldn't break the news. No. I only said that we shouldn't add flavor to it because it's a sad story. So we should speak as it is. That is all.
Honorable, we are hearing of some good news that one of the iPads that were seized was seized from the suspect is giving indications that the girls are alive. You have some details for us? I think it would really help us.
Yes, the details I will speak to only what the police want me to talk about. According to them, they got the iPad from the guy. He wanted to break, so he stepped on it severely. And that they've given it to forensics so they could retrieve information. But the boy himself says that the girls are alive. That is what he said, that the girls are alive. Only he's not speaking. And I've asked the police that I know that they are so experienced that if they want information, they'll get it. So no matter how they get the information, because we are talking about 3 lives, and we cannot say that somebody don't want to talk. And for these days, who is feeding the girls, we don't even know. So that is my worry. And my worry is that whatever it takes to get the information out of him, we should. Because as a lay person, I know that getting information from people who have ways of getting, let alone a security, who are experienced and they have all the skills. And if they were able to do, if they're able to do for their own, like Ifya said, then they should do this for us. And I've spoken to them. I am at the airport. Some of them are here with me. As I speak to you, I'm still in Takoradi. As I speak to you. And exactly what I told them, it's what we were discussing. So I even said, they would think that I even shared ideas with Ifya and Kojo even before they came to the studio. So I am with you. The only thing is that we need to have information as to where the girls are. That is my only worry.
So what are you doing about this August sighting? I mean, we just had some eyewitnesses say that they saw a car with a certain girl whose description fits that of Priscilla Bentum shouting for help. And those people said that she was their sister and she was mentally retarded and we're going to seek help for her in Nigeria. What are you doing about that?
I watched that thing and I was amazed because I'm hearing this for the first time this evening. When I went to the family, nobody mentioned that. And so while the guy was speaking, we were just here and we were like, wow, at least you could have gone to her rescue, raise alarm, and then if it finds out that it is true that she's sick, then you let her go. But you know, like Ifya or Kojo said, we are not trained on these things. We have to start educating and we'll do it so well now. We know that you are going to help us do it. Because when you go to Europe, an old woman sitting by her window side can describe in detail the person that passed by, who is a new member of the, I don't know whether it's the neighborhood or whatever. That person can tell you that a man that passed here, you know, has a long hair, short beard, white shirt, and then you can get that person. But here we don't have that information. We're not trained with it. So I think it's about time that we educate ourselves because we are all at risk.
I think that...
Yeah.
Okay, make your point. Make your point.
An elderly person can be kidnapped, and a school child can be kidnapped. When we're going to school, we used to walk home, and I believe there are other children walking home still. So we need education so that we'll know what to do, whether we have to work in groups or whatever. Since it is now coming, I think the police and together with the security agencies and ourselves, we'd have to educate ourselves and know what to do, any step that we have to take to avoid these things. But for now, from here, I am going to have a date with Madam Tiwa. I'm just speaking to her, just that we have delayed. When I get to Accra, I'm heading straight to the police headquarters. We'll have a little meeting. And then whatever information she wants me to give out, I'll give out. Others that I can't give out, I think they will be the best people to talk to today.
I think one thing is clear now. Most of the victims are used for child trafficking. And if you were following our discussion, we made the point that the ministry, your ministry, has a whole unit, child trafficking unit, at the Ministry of Gender. What are you going to do differently? Because we've seen a lot of these stuff happening. We've had assurances from that unit and your ministry, but we still are where we are.
I'm glad you talked about child trafficking. Next week, we are going to finish our child trafficking unit, and I will invite you to be there so you don't know that it's just a media show that I'm doing. We've rehabilitated our Medina shelter, and it is looking so new and beautiful. We just finished with our purchasing, and we have to finish the place, and then we'll start bringing in people. We'll start doing the education.
But let's look at the police in the Western region. We're running out of time. People are accusing them. People are not happy with the way they've handled the matter. What's your own impression? Are you satisfied with the way the matter is being handled by the Takoradi police?
Happy and not happy. I told them they are here, so they are listening. I told them, one, between August and now, what were they doing? even as a ministry, nobody informed me. It was somebody who just called me to find out what I've heard this thing, and then Joy called me, and I told you that day that I was ashamed. Nobody told me anything. Between August, if they had started this noise, I'm sure the December wouldn't have come. But nobody said anything, and it happened between August and now. And going to the site, that young man lived in the same neighborhood with them. He lived there, everybody knows him around. And he took advantage of this. He did August and he did December. And so if the police had informed us earlier and we had made so much noise about it as we are doing now, the December wouldn't have happened. So that I blame them. But for kidnapping, I don't think we can blame them because they cannot police all of us. But when we report to them, they have to act. But they cannot be in our homes protecting all of us.
Many thanks to you. Cynthia Morrison is Gender and Social Protection Minister, and she's been talking about how unsatisfied she's with the work of the police in Takoradi, but she's promising to do more from her ministry to ensure some of these things are kept. Now, 17 people are dead, 15 more on admission for inhaling toxic gases from a blast while underground in a mining tunnel close to another mining concession serviced by Chinese company Shanxi. I mean, I know investigations have opened into the matter, and also the place has since been shut down. Let's listen to some survivors.
When we were going down, we were 3 people, and then when they sent us that we should go and then lead them, we were leading them. Our daddy, he said we should go and sack them because they said they were saying that they are arresting them every day. So when we went there, we were sacking them. Even the engineer were there. We were sacking who? Our people, because they were ready to blast, and it were not time. So we were sacking them. The engineer were there. The manager were there, even the securities, those that are our parents, they were there. They were following us. Instead of them to tell us that today we are going to mix poison and blast, did the blasting, they didn't tell us. When we thought we were helping, we were helping them to sack, not knowing that they were planning to kill us. So we sacked people, like 300 people from down. We sacked them, and then those that rallied, some people dodged and went to down again, and then they did the blast. Afterward, I was in the house, and then they came and called me.
So you had some survivors at Mahane over there. This is a very unfortunate incident that happened. I mean, I know that since this whole thing happened, the place has been shut down. Investigations have opened. When the minister went there, Soma Treme, he made some comments and said that they're looking into the matter, and whoever is found culpable or guilty will face the law. But it also brings back the question of health and safety practices. This is not the first time we are seeing this. We've seen a number of these happening, but except to say that the number involved here is many, and it's so unpleasant to hear this. And the question again goes, and again, don't also forget the fact that we've had issues of Chinese, how they conduct themselves on their concessions, and how they even treat Ghanaian workers when they're working with them. What, for you, do you think, and again, in this case, I think that the issue has been that the people gave the alert that they were going to do the blast, okay? But certainly it didn't go well, or probably some people didn't hear of the warning, and so they went there. And we are also being told that when these things happen, some people normally go there to go and pick bits and pieces after the blast to make money out of it. And all of these are going around. I really don't know the facts involved. I think the investigations will reveal all of this. But back to our safety and health practices, are you satisfied with how our mining concessions are managed regarding or considering the hazardous nature of what we do at our mining sites, Ifya?
Aisha, I doubt if the issue is whether or not I am satisfied with it. I think over the years, if you read all the literature on mining, generally mining in this country compared to mining in other countries, you would agree with the literature, lots of the write-ups on mining, that we are far, far below. And we are far below and far behind also because of the level of poverty that we have created. Though other countries have rather created wealth in mining. What we have succeeded as a nation in doing is to create poverty out of it. So if you see all the areas where mining activity is very popular or that controls the local economy, the money has been lifted to other, there's capital flights to other countries. Most of the owners of those mines have gone to other countries. The economy has not grown in any way. Take Tarkwa, Prestea, take Obuasi as typical example. So the entire mining sector has failed. This issue is just beyond a blast. The reason why people will hear a warning and will not heed the warning, but will still go to the pit and face the wrath of the blast is because we are poor. We are poor because we have not failed.
That's the bottom line.
Yes, we have failed to leverage on the resources that we have gained in the mining and to share it amongst the local people on whose land the gold or the resources is buried. We have failed to do it. And like I'm saying, if you read all the literature on mining, compare it to the literature from other countries, you see this fundamental problem. Accompanied with it is social vices that increases along the line.
Yeah.
There's poverty, there's prostitution, there's theft, all sorts of criminal activities that go on in most of the mining communities. It's very common from community to community.
Yeah.
Compare Tarkwa Prestea to Cape Town.
Yeah.
Compare Obuasi to Cape Town and to other places. You see that there's a big difference. It's because of the limitation of our laws.
Yeah.
And over the years, it's so sad that our leadership has failed to deal with this matter.
Yeah.
From the days of Nkrumah, where he amended the law to make all natural resources the property of the state, rather the property of the individual on whose land the resource is found. So in Ghana, if my father has a land in Adanse or in Cape Coast, and there's oil on that land, that oil belongs to the state. Why should that be the case? Whereas if you go to Houston in Texas, if oil is found on the land, it belongs to the person who owns the land. So this thing that we inherited from the days of Nkrumah has come down to the days of today, to the extent that the state takes over everything. And instead of the state sharing the resources to the benefit of everybody, no, what the state has done in the mining law is that they have this royalty system. So you pay royalties to the traditional, you pay royalties to the assembly, and then the rest goes to the government in taxes, and then to the mining company. What happens with the money that goes to the traditional council, to the district assembly, and to the state in taxes? It is all used by the state. Nothing goes to the communities in which those resources are. So over the years, poverty has become endemic in those areas. So poverty is driving the people.
I mean, look at even Obuasi, which was just reopened.
Oh,
which
nothing is going to happen.
We're going to talk
I can
about
assure you that
shortly.
nothing is going to happen.
Look at
because
how
if we have mined for over 100 years and we have not created any wealth,
it became
then there is
a ghost
nothing.
town.
Yes, there's no reason why if we mine for the next 5 years, it will change the state of Obuasi unless we change our laws, which is fundamental. What the Chamber of Mines has done is that they push for an enactment of a new law. What the law is supposed to do is to set up a fund, a mining fund. And that fund, everybody is going to pay money into it. Because over the years, like I'm saying, literature has shown that the money that ought to go to the development of the community does not go there. The traditional council and the chiefs take the money and they squander it.
And they share it
buy
among themselves.
kente, and they come opulence, display of opulence. They marry women.
But you know the mining business is regulated by law.
That's what.
And of course,
I'm telling you that the law itself is a problem.
It's a problem.
That so-called regulation is bogus.
It's bogus.
It doesn't work.
The mining commission comes in here. Minerals commission,
the Chamber of Mines.
The Chamber of Mines. All of them come in here. Kojo, we know that blasting is something you cannot do away with when you're mining. I mean, it's something that they do regularly, but they do it under certain conditions. You don't just get up and do blasting. Now we are being told that anytime there is blasting, these poor people, because we've already identified poverty as an underlying factor in these areas, they go there with their mindset that they will get some leftovers that can make money, that they can make money from. Whose business is it to educate these people? Because if this, I mean, we're talking about the level of poverty here, we can also talk about the level of ignorance in this community. What is the Minerals Commission doing? What is the Chamber of Mines doing? Who educates these people about some of these dangers? Because they may not even know that there are these kind of dangers in inhaling whatever they use, chemicals they use in the blasting. They may not know. Who educates them on some of these things? Are our laws even working? Would you blame this on the enforcement of our laws?
Well, this is where I would like to pick up in order to answer your question. And in a minute, I'll tell you a little bit about Shangzi and why this is a company that should really have concerned us from the very beginning. But before we get to that, you know, Ifya was talking about the fact that, look, we insist that all of these minerals belong to the state. Okay, so if you come and, what you come and do is you come and get a concession to mine what belongs to the state. So the state should absolutely be interested in how you do it, and whose life you put at risk while you are doing it. That responsibility should remain with the state. The same way the ownership remains with the state. And I'll talk more about that in a minute. But Ifya was talking about how no wealth has come from the mining that we do. And maybe when we talk about Obuasi, we can talk a bit more about that. But the president, not so long ago, was speaking to mining companies and was telling them that they should start investing in the infrastructure of the areas where they mine. I listened to him.
It is not their duty.
And I was quite confused.
It is not their duty.
Look, private mining is something that I believe started in my lifetime in Ghana. If not just before I was born. I was born in 1979. So, I mean, not so long ago, all mining in this country was done by the state. All of it. For decades. Do you know how long we've had gold in Ghana? Do you know how we've been mining gold in Ghana? For a century now.
A long ago.
All that time, those places have remained poor. And today you are coming to tell the private mining companies that they should develop them. When the state was mining, you never developed these areas. Now the private companies should come and develop them. Don't they pay tax? Don't they pay tax to the state? Use the tax to develop the place. Why should the private company pay you tax, pay for the concession, and then come and develop the place as well? You government, what's your responsibility? I was confused when the president made that call. But anyway, let's leave that and focus on Shangji.
People don't believe that the Obuasi reopening would actually capture what we're hoping to capture, because
that has been very realistic.
This has been there for a long time. But if you listen to the president, we all know one of the reasons is the development issue. They didn't develop the place, and it ended up, you know, messing up the whole thing. Now the president is assuring us, and he says that government will work to transform the mining town. It will enforce laws to stop encroachers on the concession, and he's also saying that the things that led to the collapse will not recur. I mean,
it does not lie in the mouth of the president.
Forgive me, but I wanted to make some add some information about Shangji.
The Shangji line.
Okay, so this is what people may not know. This company has existed for a few years now. In May 2013, 3 illegal small-scale miners died in one of their tunnels following an explosion. In October 2014, 3 miners lost their lives when a mining pit collapsed on them. Same company, Shangji. April 2nd, 2014, 2 miners allegedly gassed to death and 1 severely injured. Same company, Shangji. April 2015, 2 miners die and 8 are critically injured from poisonous gas explosives.
And these
same
people,
company,
these people
Shangji.
are still operating
January
in this
2000.
country.
There's more. January 2016, an employee of the company dies after he was buried under a pile of gold ore. What an extravagant way to die. April 2017, 7 illegal miners die after being trapped by smoke. Same company. October 2018, an underground cleaner dies after a machine smashed his chest inside a mining pit belonging to this same company. Meanwhile, in May 2017, this company was ordered to suspend operations.
And they are still operating.
And killing people.
Yeah, but I think Kojo, you should also dissect the issue and try to differentiate it. If illegal miners are found on your mining concession and they died, the liability will not be on you.
I'm not talking about liability. I'm talking about the fact that this is a dangerous place to work.
Yeah, but some of the people make that conclusion. Some of the people you cannot make that conclusion.
They are employees. Employees.
That's what I'm saying.
Mining concession.
I understand, but that's what I'm saying. That don't jam all together. I'm telling Kojo that you hang on. I'm telling Kojo that separate the issues. If they are illegal miners found there who die or who suffer any consequences, the burden will not be on the company.
Okay,
if they are workers,
even if they separate the illegal miners,
I agree, but
there are still workers over there who
that's
are
why
not
I'm
protected.
saying that if they are not protected, so let's deal with that one.
You remember
and hold
I
the
made
company
point
responsible
of
for
how
that
the
one,
Chinese
but not for the illegal
conduct
I
themselves
appreciate your
here.
point. But I am interested in what all these incidents have in common.
Yes.
All right, that's what I'm interested in.
And that
Now,
concern, that public concern that the Chinese usually do not conduct themselves well.
Even
on that
Ghanaian miners
concession.
don't conduct
And even
themselves.
how
Aisha,
they even
the issue is
treat
not about
Ghanaian
Chinese.
so
There are Ghanaian miners who don't treat
workers.
Ghanaians well.
Right.
Aisha,
Okay.
the issue is not about Chinese.
But
Can I finish this
that
point?
wouldn't give anybody the opportunity to come into our country.
Can I
and
finish
come and
this
break
point?
our
The
laws.
issue is not even about anybody coming into the country. The law is no respecter of persons.
Yes.
The law is the
So
law.
why are they
so whether
still
Ghanaian
operating
miners
with
or
all
not,
these? With all these, even if you want to separate the people who are illegal miners who go on their concession, I mean that's, and even in this situation, the 17 people who are dead in Bani, we are told that they went through the processes that they were supposed to go through. We don't
That is
know.
on the company. That's what I'm
We
saying,
are
that
waiting for the investigation to tell us whether they are the people who went there to look for leftovers who unfortunately inhaled
I even think that the bigger
or
question,
not.
like Kojo is
But
saying,
I
should be
haven't made my
after the
point
closure
yet.
of the company.
I haven't
what
made my
led to the
point
closure
yet. Can I make my point?
Let me finish this point.
Kojo
What
make his
led
point.
to the closure of the company in 2017? And how did the company go around the closure
and
to
come back
reopen for business?
for operation?
That is the fundamental
Those
question.
are the questions
Now, once
we're
we're able to
asking.
cross that, then we come back to these
And
issues.
all these
but
are
we should,
regulatory matters.
we should.
They are law enforcement matters. Kojo, make your point.
All right, so it is true that there is a difference between illegal miners working on your concession and your own employees working on your concession. These 16 who died, are they illegal miners?
You said they are their workers.
Yes.
So definitely they are liable.
So now I want to make a point. It's about what all of these things have in common. Have you ever been to Goldfields, any of their
Newmont.
sites, or
Yeah.
Newmont,
Yeah.
or Anglo Gold?
I've been to Newmont.
All right. Did you notice that even the drivers on the road do not go beyond a certain speed limit?
Yeah.
It is the most law-abiding community you can ever find yourself in.
Yeah, because
and
of
it is
the
because of the
hazardous nature.
safety
Yeah.
considerations. So ask yourself this. You just heard the workers, the survivors, talking about how on their way in, they were told by those who were about to set off the explosion, don't go because we're about to set off an explosion. And they insisted on going. Ask yourself, why did the explosion still go ahead?
Yeah.
If those who are about to set it off are aware that
Some
human
human
beings have gone down there,
even though you warned them, and
why
they still
did the
insisted they wanted
explosion
to
still go ahead?
Yeah. So they
This
don't
is-
have any
So
value
if
for
you know,
human
if
life.
you know there are people there and you
That's
still
the
blast them, I mean,
conclusion.
is that
no matter how considerate you are, no matter how you fulfill the conditions you're supposed to fulfill.
So this is the point
These
I
people,
want to
you
make.
should have called the police to
So
arrest
this is
them
the
or
point
something,
I want
or
to
report
make.
them.
This
but to
company,
go ahead and do this.
This company has a record of people dying on their site. Whether those people work for them, whether they are tourists, illegal miners, visitors, family members, they are dying in their numbers on this site, and the site continues to operate.
Yeah.
And they continue to
Now
kill
we're
people.
told it's shut down.
They continue to kill people.
Yeah.
This is what they all have in common. These incidents all have in common.
but Kojo,
Whether you are illegal, you are legally supposed to be there or
If you are
not.
illegal,
The safety-
there's no liability on the company.
No, you are talking about liability. I'm talking about human life.
Human
And I'm
life.
absent-
But liability has to do
and
with
I'm
human life.
absent-
Oh,
and I'm-
you see, when
listen.
people
Liability has to do with human life.
So
Please,
what?
please.
At the, there's a point
If you make me
there
land,
there should
you
be
get
a
the point I'm making.
Okay.
So, if those illegal miners were unable to gain access to those pits, would they have died there?
No.
So you see, I'm not even going to argue whether or not the company is liable, because I think they are. But the point is, that is not a safe place to be. Whether you are employed or you are coming there to steal or you are coming there to mine illegally, it is not a safe place to be.
Okay, so you are arguing a duty of care on the company.
Thank you.
No matter what it is, there should be a presumption that you see, but duty of care because it's a mining site,
and see why they are liable. Because they had a duty of care.
Look,
whether the duty of care does not apply,
when you whether the person you invited the person or not,
if the person is an invitee, there's a duty of care.
The people told you.
No, hang on, Aisha. If there's a presumption, if there's a presumption, there's a presumption that people are likely to be there, and the company ought to have known that in their hang on, the company ought to have known in their reasonable contemplation that A, B, and C would have been there, and therefore they should provide security or their duty of care extend to all those people.
In this case,
my
please, okay, I'm going to make this point. Otherwise,
okay, we are running out of time.
My point is this. I haven't made the point yet. My point is that the ultimate responsibility lies in the hands of the regulators.
That is what your argument should be.
The regulation. But you have never allowed me to make the point.
Somebody closed down the company.
You have never allowed me to make the point.
The point is,
the
fact that should have been your argument. The fact that they saw the survivors as the people and they told them we are going to blast and the people insisted that they were.
Allow the police investigation report to come out, establish the core fact. We have settled on the facts. Then we can blame the regulators who closed the company and you continuously opened it.
My director has signaled me that we're running out of time. And just so briefly, let's just discuss this one because it was on our lineup. It won't be fair to our viewers. The Yana was skinned this weekend, and it was a very beautiful ceremony. The whole business of ending almost 2 decades of conflict and bringing in a new Yana is so refreshing. But beyond that is how this piece is managed. Now, we've already seen a $30 million water project that has been approved for the community. That's so refreshing. If you're a Northerner, even if you're not a Northerner, you should be happy for this happening. But the Yana also is calling on the people, because without the people, he cannot do it alone. How would you expect him and the people of Dagbon to thrive on this piece that we...
Quickly on this, I think it's good the government is linking development to peace. I think the people of the Dagbon area need to start connecting that in their minds as well. That look, the benefit of living, coexisting peacefully with your brothers is that your community develops.
I think everybody should be each other's keeper, each brother's keeper. It's a beautiful thing to see Dagbon rise again, Dagbon united. Whether you like the kin or not, it is our kin. We want peace, we want development. What we are expecting is sustainability of that peace. And we expect one district, one factory in Dagbon. Because look, I always say that poverty is at the bedrock of everything. If there's a factory there that will keep the young men and women active, keep them working, nobody will have the time to take a gun and to do anything. Let's get a factory there, let's get some development there, let's kill the poverty in the region and let Dagbon continue to rise and rise and rise every day.
Many thanks to you, Efia and Kojo, and many thanks to you at home for watching. It's Editors Forum. We've been having some very insightful conversation here. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Meet you same time next week. Have a good evening.